Jagged Little Pill was this season's most nominated musical at the Tonys, and one of those nominees was Derek Klena. Charlie Cooper caught up with Derek right outside the theater.
Thanks, Tamsin. Derek Klena, a 2020 Tony nominee for his role in Jagged Little Pill, is set to return to Broadway, singing the tunes of Alanis Morissette. We met up here at the Broadhurst Theatre to talk about that and so much more. So right now we're at the Broadhurst, and of course this is not your first time having a show here. Of course, you were in Anastasia here. How does it feel right now to be here and to know that you're back and curtains are going to be up for Jagged Little Pill?
This past year, most of us have spent the longest period of time away from live performing, away from live theater for our entire lives, like the longest period in our lives. I've been at this theater for the better part of 5 years through Anastasia and Jagged Little Pill, so it's kind of surreal to be back, and what I'm looking forward to most is the community. Why I love theater more than any other art form is because of the camaraderie, the community involved, and it takes an army to put on a Broadway show.
Did it feel like being away from home for you, kind of?
Yeah, it kind of did. I mean, the Broadhurst has been my home for the past 5 years, and this has been the longest period. Even down to the stage doorman, Ernie, who's like the best guy ever, and I saw him pretty much more than my wife for the past 5 years, to be honest, day in and day out. It's a family here. It's a great building, a great cast, a great team. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to having my friends back.
You play Nick in the show. Can you kind of talk about how your perspective over the last year is going to make you a stronger Nick or change your perspective on that role in general?
I've thought about this a lot, and what I keep having to remind myself is I view the situations that we address in the show and the themes we address in the show in a different way from Derek's perspective. But Nick is still 18 years old. He is still oblivious to the events of this past year. He is still finding himself as an adult, transitioning from adolescence to adulthood. So while re-engaging with Nick, I think I just have to let that happen for himself. I have to let Nick make these mistakes and then learn from them and ultimately find his adulthood towards the end of the show. I'm excited to get to that point of Nick's journey at the end of the show, but I'm gonna have to hold myself in check early on and not give too much away.
So I know that during the pandemic, you were a music coach, right, for teenagers?
I was, yeah, and that's been one of the ultimate highlights of this past year and what has inspired me on some of the down days or the darker days that we've all had. We wake up in the morning, we feel a little uninspired, and then to watch these aspiring performers give it their all, be so hopeful and so energized and so talented, really picked me up and you know, made me hopeful and excited for the future of what we do.
So, random question, but I read somewhere that as a kid, you used to play a ventriloquist.
Oh, yeah.
Did that little boy could that little boy have ever imagined that he would be Tony nominated and in the position that you're in right now?
Oh man, Tony nominated, no. I think living this life, definitely. I was a very animated kid. I was always into the Disney musicals. I was up on the fireplace, the mantle, singing Hunchback of Notre Dame at like 3, the entire opening. So I definitely had it in me at a young age, but Tony nominated, no. I don't think any of us, you always dream of that moment, but you don't ever think it's gonna happen. And then it does, and you get to celebrate that with a show that's so highly recognized, rightly so, for everything that we've put our heart and soul into for the past 3 years. That's what made the experience so magical, is that we got to celebrate that together.